Hey everyone, welcome to Sketch a Day Live. Let me make sure this is working. My auto switch isn't working today, so we're gonna have to do this manually. There's always something. Anyhow, hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a happy Sunday. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. And I hope you're a part of the pre-show on Instagram. It's a little thing I'm doing just to bring y'all into the conversation a little bit. So, a conversation, show, experience, whatever. Appreciate you being here. Yes, I know I haven't been around. There was actually a comment earlier that I wanted to address and talk about. And someone said, it seems like you keep moving the show. So I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it in a little bit. Maybe I'll wait till after we warm up here. But good to see you. Thanks, as always, to the patrons and channel members who have supported me, even though I have not been the most consistent. I will explain. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. This Tuesday, by the way, the book launches on your favorite retailer's website or store, in person. If you prefer shopping in person, it'll be there. So I appreciate the support so far. From what I understand, so far it's been good. So keep it coming. If you want to pick up a copy for yourself as a reference copy or just to support what I'm doing, I really appreciate it. I put a lot of work into it. And it's something that I have been hoping for about 10 years of my life. That, hey, I just want to write a book. I don't know how to write a book. I've self-published a few things, but this is really exciting. So thank you so much for the support to those who've pre-ordered. Some people have even gotten their book already. I'm not sure if that's just a clerical error or the retailer wanted to hook you up, but thank you nonetheless. We're gonna get started, and like I said, I'll address a comment I got earlier about me not being around and kind of talk about personal life a little bit, give you guys an update. All right, but we're gonna start with straight lines as we do. I guess I can challenge myself, do the dots today, just get a little warm up here. But life's been good. I'm coming hot off the heels of another event that I did this weekend. I'll tell you about that and show you some of what I've been up to. I really did want to stream this week, the middle of the week, but time, life, all of that just kind of got away from me. So it happens. I just cheated and put the dot in at the end on that one. Hello, Lautaro from Argentina. Mucho gusto verle. Y espero que les... ¿Cómo se dice? Espero que le gusta mis bocetos. Alright. I need to brush up on my Spanish. It's been too long. I need to brush up on a lot of things in life. But I feel like the older you get, the more time is literally like... Oh, hey, Mark. Impatient for the book to arrive. I feel like the older you get, the more slippery time gets, and that's been the case for me. Like, time is just so slippery. Like, what I mean by that is weeks feel like days, and days feel like seconds now, and a year feels like 6 months. So it's just wild. I remember being a kid. Maybe y'all remember this. Which I suppose is the lesson that everything in life is relative, or much of life is relative, I should say. Maybe not everything is, but I remember when I was younger and summer just felt like forever, It was so good. And now summer just feels like a few days. It's crazy. It's already December. Can you believe it? The pandemic started officially 2 years ago, a little over 2 years, and here we are in this weird reality now where everything's remote. AI is about to take over. Not really take over, but I'm starting to see, I don't know if y'all have seen this, I use Facebook every now and then, not as much as I used to. Keep training your Spanish, you're on your way. Thank you. Viva España. Que bueno. Soy de Jamaica. ¿Cómo se dice? Aprendí español en high school, en la escuela. Como hace 30 años antes. I don't even know. I don't even remember anymore. It's so bad. I've actually given an entire workshop in Spanish. I went to Costa Rica, gave the entire workshop in Spanish. It was rough, but I did it, and I spent a week in Mexico teaching and speaking in Spanish. But this was forever ago, so I do need to practice. But I've done those before. We're just warming up and chilling, and like I said, I'll give you a little bit of a life update here once a few more people trickle in. As always, if you missed the stream, you can always catch the replay. Replays are always available. I'm going to start doing some YouTube shorts as well. Probably little snippets from the stream itself. I don't know how I'll do that just yet. Probably some video editing magic to make that work. But I do record all my streams. Jamaica like Bob Marley, exactly. I want to love you and treat you right, with the roof right over our heads. Or Emancipation Song. All pirates, yes, they rabbi. Alright, let's do some circles now. Fun fact, I love karaoke. Don't worry, I won't sing the whole show. Let's do some circles here. And normally I do Sci-Fi Sunday, but I'm not doing sci-fi specific stuff. So if you have any requests today, let me know. I do have my iPad ready to go. So if we want to go paper to digital or just do digital, happy to do that as well. Let's do some ellipses. I'll probably warm up with a car because then I get to do some curve lines, some ellipses, some gesture, right? All of that stuff. I feel like my camera moved a little bit. Maybe I need to zoom in. Okay, that feels a little bit better. All right. Woo. Is this love? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling? Exactly, battle. All right, let's do some ellipses. I'm just using regular printer paper, by the way. I am in a good mood today. I'm well rested. I'm tired, but I'm rested, if that makes sense. It's hard to explain. I got some good sleep last night, so no complaints there. But I feel like I'm always trying to catch up with sleep, so there's also that issue, that problem. All right, sorry, just checking my text here a little bit. Okay. Now let's do some ellipses. I like to do them progressively. Those who've seen me do this know the drill. Reason for that is it just kind of puts you in the right perspective, so to speak, pun intended, but it puts you in the right like mode to draw ellipses, because a set of ellipses can become something else if they're drawn in the right progressive way. If you want to challenge yourself even more, you could draw these lines not parallel but converging. Maybe I'll do one set like that for you here. Drawing with my shoulder as always, like so. An airplane. Sure. Should I do it the Aki way? Name that reference. I've been spending way too much time on TikTok. Okay, Beechcraft T34. Let's see. Beechcraft T34. I'm just gonna pull it up on my images here. See what it looks like. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can do that. I just need to get a feel for what it looks like. Nothing wrong with looking at reference if someone asks you for something specific, right? And I'll kind of show you, maybe I'll use this as a teachable moment. I'll show you how I break down the shape and think about it instead of just drawing it. We'll go through that process. That might be a good one actually to go from paper to digital. We can take a picture of it, throw it in Photoshop real quick, make some tweaks, or I can scan it. I kind of prefer scanning to taking a picture. So a picture is going to pick up like all the shadows and stuff, and scanning gives you just a much cleaner image. Oh, I said I was going to do the ellipses a little different. Let's just do one set here and I'll show you. You lived in SCAD. Oh, okay. So you know Jose Gamboa and Jesus. I'm actually going to SCAD Atlanta in January. So this is what I'm talking about. You can do your ellipses like this, where they are drawn like so. Because this is actually more accurate. You know, if I wanted to draw like a flashlight or something, I could go like so. And then finish out the rest. And now you have, and this is just obviously quick and dirty, but maybe this is the handle here. This is like the lazy knurling right here. But you kind of see why I'm practicing this, hopefully. You can add some details if you want. Maybe some hatching this way. Also notice how I'm trying to hold the pen a little bit away from the tip of the pen here. And then we can just pick one of these to be our aperture for a flashlight. Maybe a hint of a bulb there. I don't know. Maybe some lines for shading this way. Some lines here. Boom, there's a flashlight. So that's why this practice is kind of important. Or in this case, we can do the same thing this way. And notice how these two lines are parallel mostly, and then this one cuts across. That's just for efficiency in drawing. We can draw these ellipses like so. And we can, of course, pick a couple of these. I'll pick this one here. So it's pretty far away. I'll pick this one for dramatic effect. It's going to be a very long vehicle. Technically this would go back, but we're going to cheat a little bit here. Right, but if I want to do the back of some vehicle, for example, we could kind of start to work it out this way. There's one wheel, no flare. And of course, you'd add all your details and whatnot. Very wide, very long car here, but you get the idea, hopefully. So that's why I like to do this warm-up. Personally, kind of helps set the stage. Kind of helps set the stage for drawing more complex objects with a little bit of practice. So, oh, interesting. Got a weird comment here. I'll just leave that one up. Live from the studio at DAP. Oh, nice, nice. Jose Gamboa, our friends. Oh, okay. He's from Costa Rica. He's from Costa Rica. Okay, real quick. So someone asked me before I started the show, why haven't you been around? You keep moving the show. Okay, real talk. I'm a single dad, full time. I'm not using that as an excuse. I don't even talk about it that much on my YouTube here, but I just want to keep it real with you. Like, things happen. And this week has been no exception. So this week I was getting ready for a bit of a craft show that I do every year. So that's the first thing. And so I was busy getting ready for that. I'll show you a couple pictures here of me and my sister doing all that. So here we are at the craft show. That's my sister. She's darling. And then, oops, wrong window. Let's see. There we go. So we set up this whole booth and we sell our products. She makes art and a few apparel items. So she was kind of doing that there. And this was my side where I was selling candles and cheese boards and trays and lamps and these little block figures and coasters and some art. So it was a really good experience, and I'll show you these on camera as well. But it takes a lot of time to prepare and set up, and I build the booth myself. I build all the products myself. We have to engage, and it's just a lot. There's a lot of 3D printing stuff in here. Anyhow, so that's my side on the left, and that's her side on the right. So that's the first thing. I was just super busy with that. And in that process of preparing, I mean, this week was crazy too. Like, there was this huge windstorm here, and my fence blew over, and I had to fix that fence. So that's been stressing me out. I'm like, man, do I want to spend $5,000 right now? I don't. So I patched it up. I'm kind of leaving it until the spring because it's snowing here. Here's one of those products. Maybe I'll switch to the overhead, kind of show you guys, or my over shoulder. So this is one of those trays that I make. I do have them on my website, but the whole brand is kind of like fine home goods. That's the idea. Fine, well-crafted home goods. Sorry, I was just looking for the candle. Here's the candles that I make. This one, the fragrance is smoked oud, I don't know, but it smells amazing, and these are selling like crazy, so I was super excited. This is the first time I've done the candles and learned how to make them. Still learning, still testing things out. And then of course make these lamps as well. I'm not gonna plug this one in or anything. I wish I could zoom out on my lens, but I can't. So the base is CNC'd, and then I do 3D printed housings and components, fabric cable. It's not focusing. And then there's an LED bulb in here. So this is actually from a Japanese gin bottle, I believe. Japanese gin is quite delicious, by the way. Only if you're over 21, people. Only if you're over 21. Anyhow, so that's a lot of work. Takes a lot of time. Stressing out about that. And then the other thing was I teach at a local university here. I've been helping with their senior studio, and they had their senior presentation, so I had to be there for that. So yeah, I had to move the stream every day for the last like 6 days, and I just want to apologize for that and say my life is crazy. This is not what I do full time by any means, and I do it because I love it and I love you. And thank you so much for hanging out and being here. But I do want to own that. Yeah, I had to move that a few times, and I have reasons for that. But I'll always try my best to do at least once a week if I can. I know last week was really rough that way. So just wanted to kind of explain there a little bit. Okay, so we got a request for a Beechcraft T-34 airplane. So let's start drawing. And generally speaking, when I look at something like an airplane, I'll start with like an axis, but also you kind of want to think about point of view. Do I want to draw the airplane if the airplane were contained in a box, right? Am I looking at the box like this? This is in my book as well. Am I looking at it this way? Am I going to look at it this way, right? Because if I'm looking at it that way, then I could draw it so that the nose, right, the nose of the plane could be here, or the nose could be here. I have a decision to make, because if the nose is here, then I could draw the bottom of the airplane, but I do want to draw the nose this way. It's typically how I do it, mostly because it's a better presentation of the object itself, even if you might not be observing the object from that perspective. Okay, so that's the first thing, point of view. All right, and then the next thing I need to do is think about the geometry of that object. And we'll do an overlay here, so no worries. But as far as geometry goes, in a simplified way, right, we're dealing with something that is cylindrical. Oops. See, I'm going off my head here, so I just need to make sure. Okay, looks like a cylinder. Okay, tapers a little bit this way and tapers a lot that way, right? So we've got a cylinder and like a cone that is shifted because the axis of the cone shifts a little bit up, right? Like so. And this ellipse should be wider. than this one. And then the front of the plane, it looks like it gets a little bit narrower. So I'm just gonna, in a simplified way, say this is a cone as well. Okay. And then we have the cockpit, and there's a few little adjustments that we're gonna make, but this is generally speaking the shape of the plane. Now, proportionally, and I'm looking at an image for reference, not so much for copying it, right? Just understanding where things are proportionally. So this is going to be the front. I don't have the correct technical term, I guess the nose of the plane. And then we have kind of the cockpit area right here, right? So cockpit is right there. And that's kind of how I think about breaking up something like an airplane. And if you're wondering what I'm looking at, here's all I'm looking at. I'll share this with you. Just a quick Google search to show, here's the Beechcraft T-34. This is what it looks like. And that's what I'm drawing. All right. So I'm just looking at, you know, these first 8 images and going like, oh, okay, there's kind of the proportion there. There's the wing angle, right? So the wings angle up a little bit as well. Just paying attention to those details so that we can just go ahead and draw. So let's go ahead and draw an ellipse here, and then the bottom of this ellipse like so. And let's say the wings are, you know, about this long. And if I were to draw just a straight line across and this were flat, right, like so, in perspective, where these lines appear to converge, and I'm just eyeballing, so I don't know. Let's check here and see. Okay, so this wing would be like over here. I drew that too long. Okay, so let's say, and I know that because I'm using this as the center of this rectangular shape. So this is too long, right? You're gonna see less over here because it's obscured. But in addition to that, the wing is angled upward, right? So from this point, I can angle up like so. Okay, and I can kind of do some. I'm just gonna drop a little point there and angle up from that point like so. And that's going to be where the other wing is. So I have 2 rectangles, simple cylindrical shape. Now let's get the tail and foils in as well, and we'll keep tackling this. So hopefully that's kind of making sense. This is how I think about it. And sometimes when I draw, I jump all over the drawing, but the back of the plane here, right? So this ellipse is actually a little bit bigger, right? And that's going to come back like so. So I'm going to shift this up a little bit more, like so. The reason for that is that's kind of where the cockpit is going to start being formed, right? So let's just draw a line here, for example. This is our cockpit, and the shape of the cockpit looks like it's another cylinder, generally speaking, right? It's got these like lines on it, and I'm just going to draw a curve for now. Actually, this is a little bit higher and then comes down. There's definitely like a return on the back of this, and then the front looks, from what I can tell, something like this, right? So remember, this is our main cylinder here, and I'm just going to cut down like so, just like that, and this is going to be my rough of the cockpit. So when in doubt, rough it out, right? This feels a little bit long, so I'm actually gonna shorten this just a little bit. We'll just take this line here, move that in, all right? One thing that was hard for me to learn when I was drawing was that artists, designers don't get it right the first time. So all of this, like working it out, totally fine, totally cool, not a big deal. All right, let's get the tail in. Looks something like this, and I'm just going to draw simple shapes for now. Are these angled? No, they're not angled. Okay, so simple shapes like so. We can use that trick again and go over here. Looks like we're not going to see much of the other side, so I'm just going to hint at it right through there. Just a little hint, right? And let's see, shape of the tail, a little bit higher in the front, a little bit lower in the back, like so. And then just add these little rounded pieces in there. It looks like this taper actually goes all the way to where the wing is, so I'm going to actually eliminate this part of the oval, right, and bring this to the front. like so. And now all I have here is really just a plane, no pun intended. I don't have any thickness, right? So the way wings are shaped, generally speaking, is something like this, okay? Where we have, that's the correct shape, yeah. So you get the pressure differential, so the plane gets lift, all right? Lift, drag, all of that stuff. So I'm just gonna come up like so, go back to this point, and then out. And then from the top, it looks like there's a little bit of taper to the wing, like so. So we're gonna just replicate that by moving in about so far. Is this helpful, by the way? Kind of just thinking through the shapes and all of that. Hopefully it is. Hopefully it is for you. And I know there's like a military Beechcraft, and there's like what looks to be a civilian Beechcraft. I'm just looking at the civilian. Now the front is not an ellipse. It actually looks more like some sort of trapezoid, like this, right? So I'm going to modify this a little bit. Just get this in perspective. I totally bungled that a little bit. And so that's going to be the shape of the front. So it's kind of this trapezoidal shape that transitions into the rest of the plane. So we're going to do that. And remember, I'm getting rid of that piece. So proportionally, we should be a bit closer here. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on this side to get our wing shape correct. And all right. Sometimes it looks like they have bombs attached. Sometimes they don't. There's also a little emblem sometimes that's about here. So I'll just reserve a spot for that. And then the overall shape of the plane looks to be something like this. Now the question is, do you want me to finish this with markers, or do we want to go... I'm going to actually exaggerate the nose a little bit too. I'm going to pull this back. The cockpit looks a little bit more set back. When I look at it from the side, the cockpit seems to coincide with right where the wing is. So this line here is kind of where the cockpit is. All right. And we've got 1, 2, 3, kind of, I don't know what to call these, straps, whatever. And then there's a more gradual slope in the back. So this is what I would consider to be just a very rough sketch to kind of help out. Also toward the back, it looks like it depends on the model, but it looks like there's a bit of a return here on the tail of the plane, and the separate piece, a little kick up there in the back. We've got potentially some other foil underneath. I'm looking at a side view of one of these, by the way, just to show you. I'm looking at this image right here just to double check and make sure we're within a somewhat realistic representation of this plane, right? I want to make sure we're doing it justice. So this is my rough sketch, and it's propeller driven. Okay, there's a little bit of a return on the nose. So I'll go ahead and draw that in. And then for propellers, generally, I'll draw some sort of ellipse, like so, and then a couple lines, like so. All right, and that's kind of how I like to do it, but in the final sketch, I'll move this in a little bit as well. So now we get to decide on the design, like which style of Beechcraft do we want to draw, and what details, features, and maybe it's a combination of several elements on this plane. Okay, looks like the front might be a little bit tighter here toward the bottom, and I don't know. Okay, looks like we got some other shape in here, and I hope I'm doing this justice to the person who requested it. But the overall idea is I want to create like enough of a return so that it feels like it's more in perspective, okay, as we do this. All right, so let's do our overlay, and then I'm gonna scan this in when we're done, and I'll use this as as kind of a base in my digital app and start drawing a bit more. So this is kind of like, maybe I would call this like an investigatory or exploratory sketch. Like, I'm just trying to figure out how to draw this thing, right? So now we go back and I've got my paper over top. Hopefully you can kind of see the sketch here. If you can't see it, we can use our light table. I do have one of these. There we go. So I could put it on the light table and you can kind of see a little bit better here. Maybe I will do this just for fun. So I do have this light table. No, Cricut doesn't sponsor me, but it's a good purchase if you like to draw on paper and this is kind of your jam. I think it's a great purchase. So all right. So forgive me if I'm a little bit quiet here. I'm just trying to focus. As it turns out, I don't know if you know this, but drawing while talking, it's actually really hard. Yeah, I probably make it look like it's not that hard, but it is a little difficult. All right, and I want to make sure get some of this stuff correct. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And the front here, I'm gonna move down a little bit. Got rid of a portion of back here. Decided on a more gradual slope. And I'm using a Papermate Flare pen. If you're ever curious about the stuff I use, you can always go to sketchaday.com/stuff, and that will show you a list of things I use, even the cameras I use in the studio, stuff like that. All right, so like I said, I'm cheating a little bit on this foil. This is a little bit longer than it should be, but just cheating a little bit to show the back. All right, and I like this navy design, so I'm gonna kind of copy it. Copy some parts of it here, but I really like what this paint job is doing. Okay, it looks like all right, I'm gonna have to make a tweak here because I think I got the front a little bit incorrect, but that's okay. I think I can recover here. Just got to get a few details in. And the nice thing is, like I said, I am going to finish this digitally, so if we need to make any changes, we can along the way. So no problem there. Okay. So this is a modified, I'll say modified paint job and details from the navy version here. All right, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Something like that. I also like to draw center lines when I'm drawing vehicles, so that's just something to kind of help me. If you ever want to erase it after the fact, you can always do that too. No problem with that. Looks like there's more of a sweep into the shape of the propeller here, so I'm going to try and capture that a little bit. Let's get our wing. And let me know if you have any other requests. I probably have time for one more after this one, so I appreciate the suggestion. Thank you very much. We'll get some rivets in here as well, as I imagine this has panels and rivets as a part of the plane. I imagine. I don't know for sure, but I imagine it does. Let's see. Okay, just looking at another version here from a different angle just to make sure. Just to make sure we kind of get. I can't tell if there's like some sort of split on the tail though. Can't quite tell. Looks like there might be something like this. There we go. Feels a bit better. There's actually more of a curve to the wing than I drew in here. So I'll just correct that. And yes, it does have paneling. So I'm going to turn this off for now. Turn this off for now. There's also a little bit of a bend in the wing. So I'm going to add a couple lines here and kind of hint at a little bit of a break in the paint job. Okay, so now on the plane itself, I'm going to switch pens actually. Use this Micron style pen for some of these breaks. All right, and I'll just kind of hint at this. A few little rivets here and there. Yeah, I really can't tell if there's a rudder on the plane, so I'm just gonna hint at it, and if I'm wrong, too bad. But that's what I'll do for now. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. We got pilots in here. Looks like it seats 2 people. So let's draw the other side. Some light lines, and I'm gonna do silhouettes. So head here, little helmet. This is where I wish I could zoom in, but maybe I'll fix a bit of this in post. Fix it in post when we get into the digital coloring. And first pilot looks like is behind. This is actually split. All right, I've been ignoring the chat for a while, so Scott Robertson's in your talks about it conference. Oh, hey Tom. Yeah, give it a try. Give those tools a try. I'd love to hear what you think. I think they're actually going to make design easier and much more accessible and interesting, frankly. So I welcome it. And I didn't even speak about this, but I had the weirdest interaction on freaking LinkedIn with a guy who was hell-bent at making me into a caricature of something I'm not. Like, you lied, Spencer. This AI tool is amazing. I'm like, dude, I'm just learning. Anyhow, it was the weirdest interaction I've had on LinkedIn, for sure. Absolutely. So weird. I guess there's like text on the plane too. So I'm gonna do SAD for sketch a day. I know it'll look like sad, but or actually we'll do S-AD. How about that? It's like SAO. SAD. All right. And then we'll do like what's a good number for the plane here on the back? I could do a marker. I feel like a marker wouldn't really show. Marker, I want something drawing related. What should I do? What should I do? Should I do 2 markers crossing each other? that what I should do? I think I'm drawing this the wrong way, but that's okay. Meaning this should be flipped. So yeah, with the AI tools, I think they're gonna like get us, you know, 90% of the way there when you put something into the tool, and it's like, you know, hey, generate an octopus robot, which I did the other day, which was fun. And there's still like weird stuff about the AI generated content, and that's okay. But you have to be skilled enough to have the eye to see what's off. Like I'm seeing, oh, that was the thought I had earlier, and I never finished the thought. But I've been seeing people on Facebook using this one tool from, I think it's Ancestry.com, where they're like generating versions of themselves using AI. Like, what would you look like if you were in the 1920s? Or as a Viking, or whatever the case may be. And you can clearly tell that there's stuff off about the images, and it's fun to look at, but it's off. You know, the AI notoriously doesn't do well at doing things like hands. Notoriously does not do hands very well. So you can always tell, and if someone doesn't have the skill to manipulate it, then it's just kind of, I'm just gonna do 7, because 7 is a number of perfection. We'll have a crossover here. I don't know why, but I'm just doing the number 7. Deal with it. Deal with it, bro. Anyhow, if you don't have the skill to manipulate it, then it's gonna look weird. So even this I can take into, I didn't finish the front palette. Even this I can take into my Procreate, which I'll do after this. Use my brushes and make some tweaks, and I'm just hinting at inside of the plane. I'm not worried about all the details here. 1, because I'm not great at drawing people, but 2, that's not the focus of the illustration, right? Was it 44 minutes in? I'm taking way too long. Way too long with this. But I'm having fun. Thank you for the suggestion. All right, so yeah, any other suggestions, let me know. Happy to take a look at those as we go here. All right, so there's our axis. Like I said, just kind of hint at propellers here. I don't know if is it 2? Let's see. Beechcraft. I just want to make sure. Beechcraft propellers. Looks like it's a 2 propeller plane. Cool. I don't even know if it's the right direction the propeller's spinning in, so don't get mad at me. Alright, don't get mad at me. You sketched it incorrectly. It's like, I don't know. Alright, so I'm gonna throw this in my scanner. My mustache is getting long and tickling me. Then we'll switch over to the iPad here. don't know. Should I use Procreate or should I use Adobe Fresco? What should it be? All right, we got Procreate up here. Let's go ahead and make a new canvas in the meantime. I'm gonna go 8.5 by 11. And okay, I guess I don't need to rotate the canvas. Forgot about that. Give me a sec. I'm just scanning here. Of course, the one time I need to like get my scanner to work, it's not working. Great. All right, should work now. It's working in the background. Okay, so I just scanned that in. I'm gonna open it up on my computer, which you can't see, but that's okay. I guess I could show you. So this is my computer here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open this in Photoshop. I was working on a thumbnail there. Okay, so there's my sketch, and I'm just gonna crop this a bit like so, and use my little, I have some presets here for my sketches, so it automatically cleans it up. Hit OK, and I can actually just copy this and then paste it into my iPad, which is kind of cool. So we'll go add, paste. It should paste from my Mac Pro. Allow paste. Takes a little second. There we go. So now that's in. All right. But I like doing it this way because it's just a lot cleaner of an image than having to take a photo. If I were out and about, I could take a photo and then you know, modify that. But all right, so here's our sketch. Whoa. So now we can color this up. I gotta make sure the layer is set to multiply. Multiply, there we go. All right, so this layer is set to multiply. Now I can make new layers and put this behind, and we can decide on our color scheme. Let's just do whatever we want. I'm gonna do a blue here. Well, do I want to put this on like a sky background? I don't think I do. So we'll just come in here. A couple things you can do if you want to. You don't have to, but you can always clean up your sketch, which is nice. You know, take like a nice little round brush like this, and just clean up any spots you don't want. Or you could like resketch spots. In my brush kit, I do have. So if you look at these lines, I do have brushes that I've created to kind of mimic these lines. So things like the rough stencil here are meant to have enough of a texture that if I needed to, let me make sure I got a good size here. If I needed to come in and add to the sketch, you can see, yeah, it's got a little bit of grit there. All right, so we can try that one out. There's also rough stencil 1 here, also a little bit rough. There's also, maybe it's not in this set. It might be in the Fresco Procreate or Fresco Photoshop set, but I do have a fine liner brush. This one has opacity variation as well, and you can angle the pencil and shade, so there's that option. But there's also this inker brush, I call it. So just a little bit of a crisp line. So if I needed to come in and clean up the cockpit, you know, I could do that, kind of like my pen would. Now this particular layer, I didn't desaturate the image like I should have, so I'm gonna go hue saturation and desaturate this so it's like a pure black. And then if you wanted to resketch this, you could just drag the opacity down and resketch it, but like I said, I'm just gonna leave it as is. Okay, so back to our blue that we picked here. My way of filling things in, I like to use just a round brush to do that. I did not see a new stealth bomber. Is it just wild? Who created this? It's a little too saturated. Who created that bomber? Is it America? Don't get me started on that. I'm like, can we just get some healthcare instead of bombs and crazy planes? And they're like, no healthcare for you. All right, so I'm just blocking out a few spots here. This is on new layer, and it's showing through because it's on multiply. And we can go ahead, and if we have like some dark gray spots, for example, I'll throw that in. What brush is this? Oh, it's like, that doesn't make any sense. All right, so real talk, if you get silly in the chat, I'm just gonna block you. So just don't. You'll just be booted from the stream. Hey Lori, what's up? How you doing? I wouldn't include it, Tom, to answer your question. I wouldn't include it in a beginning or intro to sketching class. I wouldn't do that because it's only gonna hurt the students more than help. If they're learning, if it's like an advanced sketch class or advanced visualization, yeah, absolutely, I think you should. But I do think it's important to have a good foundation before you teach those tools. I really love the contrast of like a reddish orange with this blue, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Yeah, just don't even think about posting inappropriate or silly stuff, because I don't have patience for it. I just turned 40, right? My patience is out for the silliness. It's not even silly. It's just like people posting inappropriate things. I'm like, whoa, hello. Is this a new layer? No, I made the mistake of same layer, but that's okay. Let's make a new layer. And I'm gonna do my rudder in this blue. We're just making up our own color scheme here. Just drag and drop that. And I think I'm gonna do like a light gray for this portion. So I like to do the colors for the most part when I remember on their own layer, because it just makes it easier later if I want to change something. It just makes it that much easier if I want to change something. So let's actually just do gray right here. And then if you're smart about where you put the layers, it makes it easy too. I hope you're doing well, Lori. I know it's been a minute. I was explaining earlier to everyone, you missed the beginning of the stream, but life's been crazy. Like I said, it's not an excuse. I'm a full-time single dad. For those who are parents, you understand what that means. And when I say full-time, like, my kids live with me. I take them to school. I feed them. I do all the things, right? And it's a lot of work. So I've had to move the stream a couple times this week, especially. And I know it's frustrating, especially if you are counting on me being there and I'm not there, or you set aside time. So I apologize for that. I really do. But please understand, like, a lot of times just things aren't really in my control. And sometimes I've just gotta, you know, bounce. This is what I mean by just silhouetting the people, so we can add some scribbles and whatnot and just make it work. Designers. So yeah, not intentional, not like, oh, I just don't want to do this stream thing. Like this week we had a windstorm. I'm helping my kid with a school project. That's been a lot. I've been trying to get a bit more freelance work myself, so I've been working on updating my portfolio and a few other things. So it's been crazy. This is by no means my full-time job. I love you all, but I mean, I wish I could, but I haven't seen how I could do that. So I don't know, maybe that'll change. In any case, just wanna update you and let you know about that, so that you're not like, oh, he's ignoring us or unpredictable. I mean, I am unpredictable, but it's not because I like hate doing this or anything like that, okay? So, just wanna say that. And I do appreciate you and your patience. Ideation by using Dream by Wumbo, very basic. Yeah, it is wild. I've seen an example of someone using AI to do coding, and that's wild too. It's not just design. Like this example, I actually posted on my Instagram stories, but you can say generate a JavaScript or Python or what C script or whatever the I guess not AlphaGo, a Go script that does XYZ, and these AI systems. Okay, so now that I have my colors here, we can start to tone and shade. I'll show you. So let's start with the wings here and go select, make a new layer. But these AI programs will basically do 90% of the work for you, right? Like that's wild. It is going to transform how we work. I think that's a good thing. I don't see that as a bad thing. Because like, this is as political as I'll get on my show ever. But as advanced as society is, I find it surprising that we still have to work as much as we do. I'm just like, really? Really? Like I gotta do this every day? Not this, but you know, work in general. All right, I'm trying to decide. What do I want to do? Let's do a marker. Let's use a marker brush just as a demonstration here. And yes, my mustache is getting long enough that it's starting to bug me. So this is the marker brush. I like it because you get these nice little highlights with repeated strokes that I like. We'll clean up with the eraser here. Now we'll move to the nose, and I forget which layer that was on. I think it might be. This is where I got to play that game of guess the layer. Oh, it's the same layer. Cool. Oh, that is wild, Tom. For real. That is wild. I haven't seen an example of that yet, but that is definitely wild too. All right, so when you do pull a sketch in from paper, you can do a few things. You can, and I'll go ahead and deselect this for now, but you can, so I have my sketch on the top, but I'm also going to make a layer above the sketch layer so that if there's a highlight, for example, maybe I want like a nice highlight here, and to pump that highlight, or maybe on the opposite side, it kind of goes over the sketch lines. And I like how it obscures some of the sketch lines as well. I don't have money for an iPad. Samsung Galaxy A7 Lite. You can do digital. Nice. Yeah, I don't approach digital sketching in a way that is meant to say this is the only way to do it. That's never been my approach, frankly. And I find that the principles, ideas, whatever, they just apply to whatever it is you want to do. So it's just a matter of, just like perspective drawing, for example, is a means of understanding how to capture, represent, and show three-dimensionality in a two-dimensional way or medium. And it's not about using a specific tool so much as it is, I think, understanding those principles and using those. So that's the way I see it. Just as much as like in my brush kit, there's not just one brush that's like, this is the brush, you have to use this brush, and if you don't use this brush, you suck. So whether it's a Samsung tablet or, that's weird. Okay. Whether it's a Samsung tablet or it's like an iPad, or you decide to do this on a desktop, a lot of this stuff just applies. It's not about having the exact thing, you know? So props to you for that. I'm the same way. All right, so here, for example, on the cockpit, I want to highlight over all of it. And that's going to obscure part of it here, right? Stuff like that. Maybe another one right there. I'm going to actually boost the saturation of this orange. I'm going to boost it a little bit. All right. It's looking good. Let's go back to this blue. I'm going to do a select, and on top of the blue, we're going to go with like a deeper blue here, and I'm going to add like a core shadow to the whole cockpit, or not cockpit, but the fuselage. That's the correct term. Whole fuselage. Just a little core blue here, just to help this feel a little rounded out. There we go. That feels pretty good. Let's deselect. And let's see, what else do I want to do? Maybe clean up some of the sketch work that I did here. So I'm going to take a tiny eraser, just clean up some of these lines. Are y'all using YouTube Shorts a lot at all, or no? Are you just like, this is weird, I don't want anything to do with it? I've thought about doing some shorts. I mentioned at the beginning of the show. So I am curious if that's something you use or would want to use or watch, whether it's excerpts from the live show or the live show edited down to a minute. Just curious. So yeah, this is where I can kind of take my sketch now. Add some lines if I need. Rivets, whatever. Just cleaning up a little bit. This is the rough pencil. I'm using it because the Papermate Flare pen tends to have a little bit of texture to it, so to speak. Erase any lines we don't want. I like sketchy sketches, but I also understand not everyone sketches that way or likes to. So we can go ahead and, now that I can zoom in, we can make some tweaks here. Do you have a day where I draw people? Not live. I mean, I'll do it on my own. It's just never something I've been super skilled at. So I'm not to the point where I want to teach other people to draw. But I'll do people in sketches from time to time if I need to. I'm just gonna shade this in by hand. I'll do people in my sketches if I need to, like show proportion, scale, that kind of thing. But more often than not, they tend to be the type of thing I'm doing here, where the people are silhouettes instead of, you know, super hyper realistic type drawings. I'm more of a stuff drawer than a stuff drawer. I like to draw stuff more than draw people, so that's just my thing. Alright, so just modifying some of the sketch lines here. Make make some areas a little darker. Something like that. And continue to clean up a bit. Trying to break away from reels. Yeah, reels are addictive for you. Interesting. Why am I using gray black for shading? I'll show you why. So if I want to change the, let's see. All right. So I didn't set this to multiply, but I'm going to set this to multiply. So that's set to multiply now, and that's a great question. If I want to change the color of these wings, I can go hue saturation, and I can change the hue. And look, the shadow core still shows up. So if I want green wings all of a sudden, that shows up, right? Booyakasha? Booyakasha. That's a great question. This, man, do I even want to announce this? I know Lori does classes, but I am working in the background on recording a series of lessons, and I'm committed to launching those in 2023. So stay tuned. But it's going to be on my own website, probably using Teachable instead of any other platform. Because these other platforms, you know, you have to split stuff with them, and I don't know. I'm gonna start there and see where it goes from there. So yeah, that's why, and I'm totally drawing on the wrong layer, but that's why I like to use gray or black, and then set it to multiply, because then you get a better flexibility with regards to your rendering. Hopefully that makes sense. Most reels make no sense. Yeah, a lot of them don't. I spend way too much time on TikTok is what I spend way too much time on, that's for sure. I know people got feels about that, but I do have a TikTok page for Sketch Today. I just don't post there as much as I consume the content that is there. If that makes sense. Shift that to multiply. Yeah, so you just got to remember to shift it to multiply. And there's a lot more to do here. Like, I haven't even started doing the highlights, right? So come in here. Let's make sure I'm on a super high layer. I'm not being super organized, but I can start to add highlights on these solid colors now, so that we get those part breaks showing. Or maybe it's right where these panels are, things like that. Just using pure white. I don't know. I know you can't drop a link here, Lori, but if people want to check out your fashion design sketching, where should they go? Lori is one of our fans, patrons. She's super awesome. And if you want to draw people, specifically fashion design style, check out her stuff. She's on Instagram. I know that much. Maybe I'll drop a link to your Instagram here. Let's see. Because yeah, she's got Skillshare courses. You can check that out. It's pretty awesome. Super talented. And I want to support you all too in your endeavors. Oh, here's her Skillshare link. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it in the chat here. If you want to take a really cool... Oh, shoot. It's over the limit. So I got to shorten this. Hold, please. Hold, please. Let's see. Boom. Figure out how to do this. Give me just a sec. I know there's a way to do this in Google. Okay, I'm going to just share her Instagram. How about that? I'll share her Instagram. You can click on the link. I was going to share the direct link to Skillshare, but here it is. If you're into fashion design sketching, you can check out Lori's stuff. She's awesome. Really great person too. I think, you know, one of the things designers forget is just be a good person. Lori's good people. So definitely check out her stuff if you're interested. I'm taking some artistic liberties here, by the way. With this plane, meaning that I'm not looking at anything specific here, just adding a few things. Of course, I have to add the speckler because I love the speckler. Let's see, banana speckle. Let's go, and that's gonna help me add a little bit of texture to all this. I really should. Okay, so I'm working on a lot of things right now. I'm working on a new set of textures for design because I find myself making brushes on the fly if I need to add texture to something instead of just like saving the textures. And there's a variety of textures that I have on my computer that I do want to make available to y'all, so I'm gonna be working on that as well, so stay tuned. Lots of good stuff coming in 2023. And like I mentioned on the Instagram live, so far it seems like the pre-sale, the interest is enough that I'm having conversations now about a follow-up to the book. So I really do, and I don't say this lightly, I really do appreciate the support, those of you who have pre-ordered the book and helped out in that way. Much appreciated. It's a labor of love for sure. I can't discuss what the idea is now, but I'm really hoping that it does happen, because it's a really cool idea for the next book. I'll just say something a bit more interactive. I'll just say that. So really hoping that that works out. Thank you, Andrew. Much appreciated. It launches on Tuesday. And like I said, it's a big moment for me. I turned 40 this year. Been wanting this to happen for, I guess, technically over 10 years now. I always say 10 years, but it's been over 10 years that I've been hoping that I could write a book or get something like that done. All right, so there you can kind of see, and I could keep going and working on this. The oranges are a little bit flat toward the back here. So even just taking like a nice soft airbrush, hit a couple spots, and I'm gonna switch this to, actually I'll just move this down. Whoa, wrong layer. Abort. Alright, so a little deeper orange there. Add some color variation, because one thing I've always said, light does not hit surfaces evenly when you are drawing, when you're painting. Something to remember, like putting a flat color on something just makes it feel flat. So you have to figure out where to put your light on those spots. It can be hard sometimes. I do want to add some glow on some of these highlights though, which you can, there's easier ways to do this too, but I like to do the airbrush way. Yeah, so just a little highlight there. Make it pop. And you kind of have to play with it, you know, see what you like. It's like I said, it's not as simple as, oh, my favorite artist gets everything perfect. No way. There's just no way. Maybe they get good enough that they draw the same thing somewhat perfectly, but it's not that simple. I'll tell you what, it's not that simple. All right, let's do a little bit on propellers. I want to hear what you want to see next. I'm happy to draw that. We can do it either on paper or digitally. I'm just going to paint and erase here. Just do some paint and erase. Actually, let's erase first. But if there's something you want to see, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just take an early lunch break. Because I'm tired as hell. I was also saying, Lori, that I just did Craft Lake City again this weekend. I know you came to the last one, but this weekend was the gift show or holiday show. So we did that as well. I'm gonna lighten this up. There we go. Okay, paper. What do we want to see on paper next? Let's see. Let's hear it. Next gen console. A next gen console is just gonna be a cube because design is mostly boring these days. Hey Overzell, what's up? Want to start drawing on your page as well? What advice? I would say just get started. Seriously, just get started. It's not that deep. Just get started, try it out. Be prepared for lots of hate. Man, I swear, like, if I could go back in time and show you a lot of the comments that I got on YouTube and whatnot back in the day, you'd be like, holy expletive. How did he keep drawing after all this time? Because, whew, the PS5 isn't a cube, but it's going to be a cube in the future. I guarantee you. They're going to simplify that. They're going to simplify it. Vending machine for what? Is there a way to drop a pic in here? You can drop it in the Discord, and I know I haven't been super active on the Discord. Okay, I know. You can call me out, but you can drop it in the Discord, and I will put it on the screen. So let me know what you want to see. Yeah, so the PS5 is like this weird object, and I have one. Actually, I have two PS5s. I have two PS5s and two PS5s. Like, how's it look? It's like this, right? Something like, it's just weird. It's like, what were y'all thinking? What am I supposed to do with this object? Yeah, PS5 is like this popped collar object. Here's your PS5. Something like that, but mine has the disk drive, so it's like, I'm just going off memory, but it's like this, and then the disk drive is like in here, and then the Xbox is, you know, holes, and I'm not being precise with my hole placement, so don't scream at me, but it's just holes on the top like that. And then it's got a drive and I think power and other stuff. All right, so you got Xbox right there, and then PS5. I've actually done a video on this before, but something like that. Tom Sachs MacBook Pro. Oh, he sent it to my IG. Okay, I'm gonna check my IG here. Ooh. Okay, so just real quick, Lori sent me this. She wants me to draw the fuzzy shoe, or a fuzzy shoe. I assume it's a fuzzy shoe. I can do a fuzzy shoe. I could do a fuzzy purse. I could do a fuzzy jacket. I could do a fuzzy whatever. You let me know. But that's really cool. Virgil Abloh is really cool. I wish I had a chance to meet him before he passed away. His passing, Chadwick Boseman, hit me in a personal way because to me they were both inspiring in their own way with their courage, with their willingness to challenge the status quo, to grow in their craft and master their craft. And man, that was just so surprising when they both passed away. So I don't know, next gen console, here's the thing, it's like, okay, do you want to go the geometric route or more complex route? By complex I mean, you know, the PS5 route or geometric. I think the next gen console, like, you're gonna start getting things like spheres, right, with a little button. So some sort of sphere. You're gonna get cylinders for sure, or they're gonna just go back to like some sort of GameCube style thing, which is why I say it's boring. It's boring because you're gonna get what you're gonna get. And you know, they can do things like interesting part breaks. Right? Like, oh, maybe we'll do the top white and the bottom black, right? But it's still what it is. Or maybe we'll just do a little corner here where the drive goes. That's gonna be interesting, but it's a functional shape, right? You've got air in from the bottom, so air in and air out. That makes sense. The PS5 tries to do something interesting by putting the vents, you know, along these sides, but it's not efficient. A lot of them are breaking. I suspect mine will break pretty soon here, which is unfortunate. So it is what it is, right? Complex PS5 like console. So if you want to go complex and sculptural, I mean, if the silhouette right now, it's not quite this. Let me take a look, because this is more Xbox 360. PS5. I just want to make sure I'm not misrepresenting. Oh yeah, PS5 is more like this in the front and this in the back. So you get this like popped collar aesthetic. So are they gonna do the? I don't even want to use the term, but we had a term for this in design. The morph, the V morph. I'll say that the V morph shape. Are they gonna do that? Right, a little bit more complex. They could do something that's a bit of some sort of shell shape. I don't know, just weird. The problem is, here's a little bit of design philosophy for you guys. Shapes that are provocative or complex. Provocative and complex. Shapes that are like this, that are provocative and complex. Like I said, the PS5 being what it is, or even the Xbox 360 in some regards, provocative and complex. That is going to, if you have a total market, right? You're appealing to a certain set of people who like that thing. Now, you may capture an additional segment of the market here, but that's going to be performance based, because the PS5 outperforms the Xbox. So people are like, whoa. And it's like performance plus mindset. But in terms of aesthetics, you're only appealing to a very small segment of people who think having this object, right, this object in your house on your entertainment center is something they want to have. It is something that demands you to make a decision. Not a lot of people are comfortable with making that kind of decision, is what I'm trying to say. So that's what I think. It seems as though they drew inspiration from like Zaha Hadid. Yeah, exactly. Booyaka Shah. Mimic certain parts. Okay, fuzzy products is a good challenge though. Fuzzy things. We got fuzzy Dyson vacuum or fuzzy shoe. Fuzzy shoe makes sense to me just because there's like parts of a shoe you could make fuzzy, like say the front here of the shoe could be fuzzy. Maybe it's like a winter, some sort of winter shoe. And for the sake of being lazy, I'm gonna just use elastic straps here. Ah, I used the wrong paper. I'm so sorry. I should have used marker paper for this. I'm losing my mind. I am losing my mind. So we'll do an overlay. Yeah, I don't dispute that the PS5 is beautiful in its own way. I'm just saying, like, the only reason I think they're successful right now is they have outperformed Xbox in terms of gameplay and what I'm just doing like a generic outsole here, but they've outperformed the Xbox, right? All right, so a little fuzzy outline here, and I think I'm gonna do something like this for the fuzz. The fuzz. Should we make it Nike like Virgil's concept? But I'm gonna do just elastic, just to make it simple. Something you don't have to adjust, but maybe the elastic like, you know, punches through at least in one spot. Got a little interruption of this simple shape, which is, I think, visually interesting. And I think his fuzz had like and if it's a winter shoe, maybe it has traction to it, which could be kind of interesting. So we could do something like that. And since it's a winter shoe, I'm gonna do a sock that's built into the shoe. And what else would I want in a winter shoe? We've got the traction. Not being super careful with these lines, by the way, on the tooling. But I kind of like where this is going. So the fun thing, I don't know if y'all have tried this yet, but you really should. You really should try this. Do a reasonable sketch, and maybe I'll do this live on the show and kind of show you the result here. But one thing you should try is doing a reasonably defined sketch, even if it's like with marker, and then throwing that into your favorite. Not your favorite. Throwing that into an AI system. I'm going to do blues and greens here. Throwing that into an AI system and seeing what it gives you. Right? Nike offline mule shoes design. Okay, let me check that out. Nike offline mule 3.0. What does that look like? Oh, interesting. I need these shoes. I don't even care if they're for men or women. I need these shoes. These are incredible. Thank you for pointing this out. I might actually just order them while I'm on the show. Woo! These are dope. And I'm gonna get them in pink, I think. These are the shoes. So I gotta get men's 12 in the salmon color 57. These are really cool. Wow. Yeah, because they don't really have any other interesting colors that I want. This maybe. I'm not gonna get the whites. Okay, these are interesting. The salmon are calling to me. These are calling to me. They're like saying, Spencer, put me on, get me and put me on. And I really want to. That's cool. I could do something like the meals. That'll be fun. We'll see how I'm doing on time here. Like I said, I'm hungry as hell. So those are so cool. Exactly. So cool. But yeah, I could design something like that. All right. So I'm going to start with the base color. I'll start with something light. But like I said, greens and blues. So I'm not being careful with my marker stroke. I'm just using Copic markers here. And the reason for this is I do want to create the texture. Okay. As we go. And I want that texture to communicate the form as well. So we'll start with this light green. Like so. This is green 21. Let's see what else we got. We got blue green. I'm just gonna just go at random with these. Okay. Not being careful. You could use the brush tip of the marker, I suppose, but I'm just using a chisel tip here. Just using the chisel tip. This is a fun... I think I'm going to make these... I'll have to figure out a fun color. Maybe we'll do some crazy color like pink or something. Now, obviously, it's not going to look like a photograph like the virtual concept or even a photo rendering, but it's still fun. Still fun. Let's see. Let's use this green. Trying to mix these in as well, so a couple strokes here and there. And notice how I'm just like randomly putting these tones in. Alright, just creating that that field. What I really should have done actually is this, just giving myself a base color, because a little of that white is showing through. So let's see if we can recover here. I don't want the white to show through. So we'll start with that. Could have used the green 40 as well that I have here. So I'm just grabbing a bunch of random greens. I want to do like a blue-green fuzz. Like I said, I could use the brush tip. Here's the brush tip marker now coming in hot with that brush tip. Just changing direction as we go. And what I'm trying to do here is create a concentration of shading along the shadow core. So if you squint your eyes and look at it, right, we get that three-dimensionality. We'll just keep building colors. So with markers, you definitely want to start with your lightest light till your darkest dark, but at the same time, I know where my darkest darks are going to go, and I can use I'm thinking like a blue-green, you know, to kind of get this feeling more three-dimensional. Yeah, Booyaka, I'm definitely getting those. Thank you so much. Like, I love quirky designs, things that, like, okay, confession, I'm a Crocs guy, okay? I'm a Crocs guy. No, I'm not going to get the Balenciaga Crocs, the heels. Why would I do that? But, and for other reasons, because the recent marketing campaign is a little sus, shall we say. But I love my Crocs. I do. I have like 5 or 6 pairs of Crocs. I could do a Crocs tour on the show sometime, because I have some pretty interesting ones. I've got the Salem Bembury Crocs. I've got ones with chicken feet on them. I've got yellow Crocs. I've got Crocs that look like if a backpack were made into dad's shoes. So I'm kind of obsessed with Crocs and round sunglasses, as it turns out. I also love round sunglasses. Okay, so obviously this is taking work, right? Create this texture, but this is how you do it. You just kind of go with the flow. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate you. Like I said, the more orders I get, the more likely it is I can do a follow-up. So I really appreciate it. There's some pre-discussion right now about what that might be, but I'm hoping that it does come to fruition. So it's kind of looking like grass a little bit, but you get the idea. Lori's like Crocs. No. Do your kids like Crocs, Lori? I feel like okay, so I've always been a Crocs stan. I just don't talk about it because people have reactions like Lori's had here. And it's like I get it, they're polarizing. They're polarizing. But the ones I have are actually cool. I think. I think they're cool. All right, once I get this done, the rest of this should be fairly simple. I know what color I want to use for the outsole. I know what I'm gonna do. Yeah, your son loves him because he's cool. He's cool as hell. I get it. We could hang. My kid loves. Well, he doesn't have official Crocs yet. He has like Croc style shoes, not the same design. Because I'm like, your feet are still growing. I'm not gonna buy you expensive Crocs because Crocs are expensive. It turns out. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy you expensive Crocs right now. We're not gonna do that right now. Do I get the little clip on doodads? I've been thinking about making my own clip on doodads, like 3D printing them. But no, I don't buy them. But some of the limited edition Crocs that I have. Some of the limited edition Crocs that I have come with the doodads. And they're really cool. One of them is a Diplo, is a musician, Diplo edition Crocs, and the doodads light up. They're mushrooms on the shoe, and they like light up when you step, kind of like those old school kids shoes that like light up as you walk. It's kind of like that. I may have to use some pencil with this too. I'm saving the darkest marker I have for the end here. Definitely do it. Okay, I'll do a Crocs tour. I'll do a Crocs video on Patreon. Do you want to see a sunglasses tour too? I have like almost 30 pairs of sunglasses. I'd be happy to do that. I love my weird sunglasses that I have. That's a really good idea. Thanks, Lori. I'll do that because I know I haven't posted there in a minute, so I'll do Crocs and then maybe sunglasses in the future if y'all want to see it. All right, so just kind of hitting the shadow core here with this darkest green. You can kind of see how it's like just along the round parts of the shoe. I'm trying to make sure it's just dark enough, which is why I said, maybe I gotta use a little pencil here. And now I can fill this in with just some mid-tone fibers, like so. I don't think exactly I have a salmon colored marker, but I do have some colors here I can play with, because I wanted this to be kind of salmon colored. wanted the straps to be salmon. And this tooling. Oh yeah, and then the last thing I'll do today, because I don't think I'm going to do that other shoe, but I'm going to put this into an AI program, and I'll show you what it comes up with. How does that sound? Because I think it's actually cool what you can do with those AI tools. So this is just as an example of like, okay, I did this quick sketch. Now I want you to iterate on this sketch AI program and show me what you come up with. So I'll do that before we wrap. I'll have to go get my laptop, but if you'll hang around and wait for a minute, I'll be happy to show you that process. Light prawn. I don't know. Do I have light prawn? Is this light prawn? Light orange, salmon red, light prawn. Yeah, red 22. It's like a funky. This is so funky. I love it though. I love it. All right. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. I got all these like weird people showing up. LA Gears. No, that's old school. Where's my green? There's my green. These are like so funky, but I would totally wear them. I would wear them. I know not everyone would, but I would wear them. Just simulating a little bit of knitting here. Quick and dirty. Nothing crazy. Sia Collective has some dope foam croc-like shoes. I'll have to check those out. Alright, and then I'll do something kind of normal in the middle here. Don't worry. I know I've said this before, but every time I stream, like, my studio just explodes with just markers everywhere and stuff everywhere. It's always, like, just wild. Do I use markers other than Copic? Sometimes. Sometimes I do. I like my Copics. I think they're the best markers you can buy. If you like markers. You know, and not a lot of people use markers these days, but I like them. All right, let's use my little brush marker here. Just kind of refine the outline. Add a little texture on the inside as we go. Make the soul of a poisonous fuchsia. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Like a poison ivy shoe almost. Like really double down on that. That's a fantastic idea. Thanks for pitching that in. I can't really do that now. I'd have to like do it digitally, but I think that's a great idea. Okay, I am curious to see what the AI does with this. It's not a perfect system by any means. But I am gonna scan it in, and then after I scan it in, we'll throw it at the AI stuff and see what it does here. So yeah, that's a great idea though. These are so funky. Okay, I'll be right back. It's supposed to be fur on the boot. That's as close as I got to fur, but I can see why you say it looks like grass. I'll be right back. We're back. Whew. You're probably wondering, why does he have his laptop? Well, my laptop does a much better job of the AI processing than my desktop right now, because the newest Apple Mac processors have systems, or not systems, but the hardware is like a newer version is available. We'll just run the old version here. And you're probably not going to see it very well, but I'll run it like this for now. In the meantime, I'm going to scan this in. All right, take care, Andrew. Thanks. We're going to wrap up here in a minute anyways. Okay, so I've scanned this in. I'm going to, in the meantime, get my image ready. I guess I can show you. Whoa. I can show you this stuff here. All right, here's my scanner. Let's open this in Photoshop and just make some quick adjustments here. Let's go counterclockwise. I'm gonna crop this in a little tighter like so. Do a quick levels adjustment. All right. And okay, maybe do a little. I don't even need to sharpen this. You don't even need this good of a sketch, but let's go ahead and save this. Actually, save this as. So I made a mistake. Just do on my desktop. We'll save this and make it a large file. And now I'm gonna send this to myself, to my laptop. That's my kid's iPad there. All right. Send this to myself. And while that's going, let's go back to my B camera. Like I said, I don't have a good way of showing this, so I'm gonna go. I wonder if this camera will do it. No, this camera doesn't really do it because I'm not hooked up to show this actively working. I could try and do it in the iPad window that I have set up already. Let's see if this works. Oh, yeah, that kind of works. But here's what I'll do. I'm going to set up just a hokey hokey scene here. Hokey, is that an appropriate word? I don't know these days. I don't know. What is happening? Okay. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna set this up real quick. Let's turn that off. I'm gonna add. Okay, I'm losing my mind. Hold on. There we go. Let's call this laptop. And I'm going to use. Boom. Okay. Okay, I think I got it to work. So let's transition there. Woo! Okay, this is my laptop. So what I need to do is add an image. And it looks like I have it there in my downloads. So I'm going to click to add image and go to downloads and open this one. There it is. So now I can type in here in my prompts. I need to move my head. I'll make myself a little smaller here. Ooh. Okay. So there I am. Right there. So now I can say Nike shoe, furry, comfortable, Unreal Engine 5, product, photography, studio, elastic, straps. Let's just see what it comes up with. So you can select options to, what am I doing? Using the wrong mouse. You can select options to, and I can say, I want you to generate 4 images, and I can tell it how much I want the prompt to guide it and the image, and so on. So I'm going to just hit generate, and we'll see what it comes up with here. So really, really cool technology, though, that we have the ability to do this right now. Looks like a foot is growing out of the sneakers. I am Groot. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, Chris, using digital and traditional. What's up, Sticky? Adidas Grinch zooms. Exactly, it's holiday time. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. I'm using Stable Diffusion. This is called Diffusion B. So it's a local client that runs on your Mac. Why is it not working? Generate. Do I need to update this? I hope I don't need to update. Okay, so it should be generating now. And if it doesn't, I may need to update the model. Okay, it's working now. So, like I said, surprisingly, it doesn't work well on my Mac Pro. I've tried while streaming, and it just cripples my system. So yeah, that's why I'm hooking up my laptop right now. Nike Air Groot. All right, so there's one. Interesting, right? Interesting, but I can see where you could take this and then start to iterate a bit. Be like, okay, that's interesting. How do I get it to show me what I want? But isn't that crazy? Like, it's just coming up with these concepts. And this is what I mean by, like, it gets you close, but it's not quite there. You can, and I didn't do a lot of finessing the text input to get me what I want. It just has a sketch and it's going off of that right now. But those are the first 2. There's another one right there. All right, really interesting. Okay, that's different. That's interesting. I kind of like these right here. So we can hit stop and we can say trending on Behance, furry upper, fabric. Like, you can just play with these words, and let's just do, instead of 4, let's just do 2, and I'll hit generate and see what it comes up with. So really interesting stuff. Yeah, this is Stable Diffusion. Run it locally to generate reference painting studies. Absolutely. I think it's super useful and will be in terms of education and expanding what you can do personally, creatively, with these tools. That's where I think it's like really interesting, right? You can do things you didn't think you'd be able to do before. Like, I don't know what this is, but it's something interesting. I might be able to take this into Photoshop and you know, as you put it, use it as a study to say, okay, I hadn't considered this type of breakup for the upper. I hadn't considered the outsole being this way or that way, right? So here's a really interesting one too. I'm like, dang, that's really cool. Look at that color break in the back, right? Something that I didn't have in mind. It missed the furry upper. So let's see. I'll take the Nike out and say Grinch fur. Just see what it comes up with, right? But you can just sit there and play with this. It looks like there's an update for Diffusion B, which I'm using, and so probably after the stream, I'll take a minute and just play with it some more and kind of see like if the model's been updated and what I can come up with and what's happening. Booyaka is like, yikes! But here's where I see it being useful. It's not a one button push, enter some text and you're done process. It's not, okay? Here's an interesting one. Now it's got some fur. All right, that's weird. It looks like it's made out of human skin though, which is not cool. But as far as challenging your own like creative limitations, I think it's useful in that way. All right. Oh, Michelle, that's interesting. It's nice to see someone use AI to generate a product rather than anime women. I haven't seen that. That's interesting. But you know what? People will always use things for weird things. Here's an interesting one, the second one here. So the other thing you can do is I can tap on this image and I can say send to image, right? So it's now replaced that and we can use the same prompt and generate. So it's going to build on what it did, right? It's going to build on what it did and give me something else. I may not like it, but you know, it's part of the creative process. Just like I would be sketching to iterate more intentionally, with this tool, I can take my sketch and now I'm off in a realm that I didn't even imagine. Okay. And we can keep iterating and we can keep generating content based on that. Okay. I could even remove the Grinch fur prompt in just a sec and we'll see. Yes, I am aware of that, Buyakasha. There's a dark history there with enslaved people and the use of their bodies for certain products, for sure. So really interesting stuff that you can get here. And there's options. So if I take this prompt, unfortunately I can't do it here, but I can enter the main text prompt and I can go, not prompt idea, I want to go styles. And it'll give you a list of tags that you can add. So I can say, let's see, detailed and intricate. We can say for the camera, photo shoot, studio lighting. But also we might want to do some color grading with beautiful lighting. Maybe we do want this to be kind of synthwave. You can say ArtStation in there. And this is where it gets a little ethically questionable because they actually build these models off people's real work. There's a whole thing happening right now with rights and what this all means, right? So let's see. Let's do cycles render and see what it does. All right, so now I'm going to take all of this stuff and we'll put it back in here and then generate and see what we come up with. So it's pretty fun, in the sense that, like, again, you can you can take your sketch, get to a point, and then generate some other stuff. And then for me, the way I see it being most useful is then taking what I generated and generating more stuff and then sketching on top of it. Because you're not gonna just push one button. See, that's like horrible. That is horrible. That's where curation comes into play, and I can say as a designer, no, that's terrible. I don't even see any potential there. Right? But we can also let's see, change image. We can also put the original image back with the new words, and then we'll get different things. There's also a history that's generated in the app, so you can scroll back and see all the things that you've generated. Here's some other things I was playing with here and there. I think the octopus is like way back. I was playing with some headphones, so it just doesn't get things right sometimes, especially if there's tricky perspective, right? Here's a backpack I had it do, which actually was pretty good. That was based on just a really quick sketch. Here's another backpack. Let's see, it's not letting me load it up. But there's another backpack. Here's some others. This shoe, I did post this one on Instagram, but this was from just a quick sketch that I had done, okay, in Adobe Fresco, and there's some iterations that it came up with. So let's go back here. That's what it came up with. I'm like, ugh, I don't know, man. It's weird, but it's different. But you could take this stuff, put it in Photoshop, and generate content that way. So that's where I personally see the potential for all of that. There's a question here from Michelle. Are you concerned that your work may have been used in Stable Diffusion? Is there any way to check? I'm not personally concerned. There was an incident with a contemporary of mine who was approached by someone on LinkedIn. There was some LinkedIn drama last week. And there's a university professor in the UK who was rude, disrespectful, and just didn't want to listen to me, Michael, and Hector Silva. And he was determined to use Michael's work. Michael sent a legal letter to him, and that got stopped. But the idea was that he was going to take Michael DeTullo, who's a designer, he used to work at Nike, to train an AI system, AI bot, whatever, to create work like his. And Michael was like, hell no, you're not doing that, right? So personally, I'm not as concerned. It is what it is. But I did see something interesting. I wonder if I can pull it up here. Let's see. Because this one account posts a lot of stuff. So let's see. See if I can find it. I'll show it to you. But they have, in architecture, used or trained rather an AI to mimic. Oh, here it is. Okay. So here's an example of Zaha Hadid architects using Midjourney in the style of Zaha Hadid and showing images to clients, right? Interesting. Reliably informed. So not 100% informed, but interesting. You could train an AI with Zaha Hadid, who has passed away, train the AI with her work, and then create these concepts. What's the line? Who gets the benefit? Is this a way for us to live beyond, in a way, at least creatively live beyond our actual life, right? That's an interesting consideration. If someone wanted something sketched or drawn or designed like I would, what does that mean, right? And where's the line? What's okay, what's not okay? All these questions are going to be coming up for sure. So it's just a really interesting thought and consideration. Okay, I've been going for a while now, so I'm going to wrap it up, but thank you so much for hanging. Thanks for being here. It was super fun. I appreciate the suggestions. I'll try and be back midweek, but as always on Sundays, I'll be back as well. Can you try to change the colors but leave the model? I don't know. I think I'm still learning personally, so even me showing you this stuff is not like super fine-tuned training a model personally. I know Scott Robertson, for example. I had a conversation with him. He is training his own model to do things in the styles he wants. That is interesting, right? Could I have effectively a robot helper, someone who gets me like 90% of where I would naturally end up because it knows how I sketch, how I think, and all of that? Really interesting. That's totally fine. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap up for now, but I'll be back midweek. I'm hoping Wednesday, and then next Sunday. Well, I might be out of town, so we'll say Monday, Tuesday, next week after next. I'll be back on, so we can continue this conversation, continue those experiments. I'm gonna update my model and see what I can come up with. But much love to you. Thanks for the support, Patreon's channel members. Lori, I will give you a tour of my Crocs on Patreon. And then possibly a follow-up showing all of my sunglasses. I have almost 30 pairs, so maybe I'll do a random sampling of those sunglasses and show off. So much love to you. Take care. As always, passion is a process, and if you learned something today, try it out, learn how to do it, and then of course teach someone to do it, because it's going to only make you better in the end. So with that, take care, and I'll see you next time right here on Sketch A Day. Peace.